But it's like having a furry water bottle sitting on your lap in the middle of fucking summer. No, you're not getting on my lap.
Hey everybody, it's been quite a while since our last D&D game. Welcome to Gator Does D&D, part of the Kingdom of the Discordia series. Oh man, as it goes, we're still out player right now. Our thoughts and prayers go out to him, for whatever those are worth. I am joined today by our usual group, minus him, poor Maxwell. But we do have an additional person to the cast today. My good friend Karn is going to be joining us today.
Ew.
So, we've got a bit of a change for you all. I know most people are used to the D&D game that we've been running, but we're doing a bit of a side series right now. This is going to be a little, kind of a forgotten gem of Wizards of the Coast called GammaWorld. Clearly, Feldy is already... Yeah, apparently.
I don't think that was...
Oh, so somebody
that
left.
was my sister.
Oh, okay.
Apparently,
So, yes.
your sister laughs like a German woman. Okay. That's a compliment,
Question:
I hope.
should Squiggums be scared?
Probably.
Almost certainly.
Alright, so as you can hear, we are joined by the ever-lovely Feldy Arts and the ever-dapper Ailments. Bar is with us today, as well as the infamous Dr. Squiggums.
Hey,
Infamous is the right word.
So let's go ahead and let's pull up the new screen that we've got for it. So this is our 0 session, huh?
Which background did you pick in?
I didn't get a chance to implement it. I've yeah, we're doing this by the seat of our pants today. Speaking of, this is going to be a bit of a learning session. Not only for the players here, but also a refresher course for me, considering I haven't done GammaWorld in goddamn forever. So, a lot of people have a big problem with 4th Ed, and if you happen to remember back in the day, not really back in the day, it was probably like a couple months ago, we did a podcast episode where we discussed GammaWorld. This is us actually enacting on that. So, we have all of the books here. We've managed to purchase it. It is a complete set. Basically think of this as your Saturday morning cartoons. Funny enough, we're doing this on Saturday afternoon.
yeah.
It's evening. Saturday evening.
It's night.
Well, for y'all, yeah. Y'all across that big puddle.
Saturday.
Yeah,
Saturday car.
yeah. Saturday cartoons at this point. But that being said, we have we're basically going to be going through our 0 session, and it's going to be character creation. Now, I've had all of my players here go ahead and build up an idea of who they're going to be playing for our little game here. But before we get into that, I'm going to give you all watching at home a bit of a background on this strange and interesting world. Starting off, this is a little bit more familiar to most folks. This is Earth. Small little blue-green mud ball, third rock from the sun and all. But there's been a little bit of a change. Specifically in the fact that some years from now, there was a bit of a problem. In the midst of an alien invasion that Earth was facing, there was a bit of a quantum anomaly that caused our world to become entangled with many others. Resultingly, things got weird very quickly. After a bit of a nuclear exchange with these extra-dimensional entities and aliens, the Earth is mostly blown to shit. There has been temporal anomalies that have raged across the surface of the planet, causing the past, the present, and the future to collapse in on themselves, as well as other dimensions to bleed through. Things like magic and mutant monsters surging through the rifts. Most governments on Earth have long since faded, and the only things that seem to have been able to survive this terrible cataclysm were corporations, which had the means, the technology, and the resources to be able to make off their own walled-off city-states. That is where it brings us today to a little town known as Johnsonville. Johnsonville is owned by the Johnson and Jensen Corporation. Apparently, one of the Johnson brothers had an extra head grow. But they were a chemical corporation.
You know, corporate executives always trying to get ahead.
Yep. And so, basically... But
Oh shit.
And
Yeah,
so...
that gonna be that kind of campaign, boys and girls.
Yeah.
Oh, it's gonna get better.
It's going to be perfect.
Oh my lord. That being said, the town itself has, it's seen better days. No one really remembers what this city originally was named anymore. Maybe a few.
Like
Well,
bad green rod.
yeah. There's a lot of rotten overgrowth there,
Yeah,
Doctor.
Maybe not somebody smut. You know what I'm saying?
But things have become a bit of a Wild West, with scavengers roving the wastes around the area, bringing in fresh supplies, and attempting to tame the wild outlands. But as it goes, the rich inner city is enclosed by a large dome. Now, these are the elites, the corporate execs, and their progeny over the long centuries since the wars. But bear in mind, we also do have the facet of temporal anomalies. There are people that exist today who were there for the fall of civilization as we know it. They just happened to take a bit of a shorter route to get here. That being said, I'm going to go ahead and open up the floor to introduce our new characters that we have here. Beginning with a very peculiar doctor that has set up shop in town.
Yes, it is I, Dr. Cornelius Theodore Sept. You might call me just Dr. Core T. Sept. Thank you very much. Now, I gotta say, you might be thinking, what is with that name? Well, maybe my name might give you so much of a rise of puss on your face, but I can saccharomyces you, opening up a new opportunity.
Oh, that's a hell of an intro there.
Fun guy.
What you see is that I kind of get to I was gonna say I don't really put a hyphae through my through all of my means. You know what I'm saying? Science.
So, Doctor, I think it's pretty evident that you service the town of Johnsonville as I suppose a resident physician for the do you work for the poor wards, or perhaps you are admittable enough to the inner dome?
What's this dome you speak of? I'm just trying to find all the experiments I can do.
Oh, you're that kind of doctor. Oh my.
I'm a true doctor in the name of science.
Surely there are some leftovers of your experimentation wandering the city at this point. Woe be it the poor bastard who walks into his practice expecting to maybe be treated for the radiation sickness or cough that they have developed.
Well, at least you can say it's probably a false death cap.
Oh my god. Speaking of, this particular fun guy is excessively fond of puns, and I do apologize in advance of such. Moving along.
I guess you could say that my puns are a little bit of a charcoal burner.
Oh my. Well, that being
Apparently it's
said,
hard to
Don't
hear
worry,
us.
in battle, I'm kind of a shrimp.
Hold on, Gator.
Yeah?
Gator, you need to turn us up and you down, apparently.
oh, right.
Oh.
Let me turn down my mic a bit more here.
Talking with Hey Devil, Hey Cats, and
Hey, guys.
to the other one that I know is watching.
Welcome, welcome to our little
Interesting show here, my dudes.
cerveza of an adventure.
All right, going ahead and moving along away from the excessively charismatic doctor. We have a very strange fellow that seems to be working here in town. Glowing red eyes and lots of fur, very hirsute.
Well, maybe I could do with shaving a little bit, but I'm not that hairy. Not too much like our DM.
Oh, fuck you!
Don't-
Fuck you! I'll have you know my beard is magnificent. God damn it!
It's
It
okay.
really
Look,
fucking
I'm just
is.
gonna say this: people are starting to get more of a liking to you.
Down, Shroom, down! I'll get the fucking roundup. Monsanto survived this shit.
A doctor that gives me
Talking
headaches.
of which, I'd just like to throw out, we are not Johnson Johnson and Jensen advocates. We are not paid to shill for them and or Monsanto.
Oh no! We're clearly not being gifted buckets. Oh! Thank you for that that bucket of bottle caps right here. No, pay no mind to the man behind the screen, shoving bottle caps in his pockets. Oh! You're too generous. Thank you so much. Oh god. Yeah. Right. Monkey Man. Go ahead and tell us about a little bit about yourself.
First of all, monkey is a slur. I'd rather you didn't call me that.
My deepest apologies.
It is Simeon, Simeon Skin. My name is Reese. Fuck, I forgot my name. Shit. I'm gonna say.
I guess you could say that you're a pretender.
Oh,
God
that's bad.
My name is Reese Mukong.
Yeah.
If you couldn't get the monkey reference, I'm sorry for you. I am a demon possessed Reese Macaque. Obviously working in a town that doesn't like demon possessed anything is a bit difficult. So I find my time in fight clubs, underground fight clubs, and the like. Working.
Interesting. You fight in the pits. Oh,
I fight in the pits. I also deal drugs. I deal lotion from the Johnson Johnson & Jensen company to all the demons that have dry and cracked skin from hell. It works wonders. It's one of the reasons why I don't look like I'm eviscerating everyone.
That is true, but I don't stretch your smarts, which is why I gotta lead me to the brains of the operation.
Okay, I swear to God, Squig, you cutting in. I'm gonna beat the shit out of you.
Alright, sorry.
Dude. Give everyone.
Isn't
Every
it
shit is a
wonderful?
pun.
I'm gonna turn you into some miso fucking soup if you don't shut the fuck up.
Oh, miso soup. Nom nom.
That's
Okay,
a lot
cool.
of she-talking.
Oh god.
So
Twigs,
yeah,
Google.
As a bit of
I
background.
actually that's a good point. Devil King has asked me if I sell mushrooms. Only if they don't shut the fuck up.
That being said, there is a bit of background to let you know. Hell is a very real thing in this world. It has overlaid
is
with our
indeed.
own place. specifically in the facet of, well, there's a lot of unhappy spirits at the end of the wars. There is a lot of leftover maligness, and not only that, but actual demons that have bled through into the world. Now, you might be wondering why there's not as many settlements that scatter across the globe at this point. Specifically, this is due to the fact of, well, unfortunately, people tend to develop a bit of a infestation, shall we say, beginning with a small demon seed within them that eventually grows to take over them and their psyche. Now, these demon seeds end up turning them into what are known as the possessed. These individuals can be a bit of a death sentence. Think of them a bit like possessed superpowered zombies.
Oh boy.
Yeah, they're kind of bad news. As such, there is a what's it, the old religions of Earth sort of had a resurgence in their ability to be able to fight off these horrors, as they were. But that being said, apparently our good friend Mukong here has been able to resist the full possession of his own demon seed.
For
Well,
now.
I don't really have the brain power to be completely possessed. I am obviously only a macaque. Although the possession has granted me certain height advantages. I think is what we'd call it. I'm 6 foot tall.
No.
I have orange skin and black fur. I basically look like a lava creature from a distance if you're not wearing glasses.
Very much alien to a lot of things. But then again,
Well,
mutations are the currency of the realm, as it were.
yes, well, it helps me out in the pits when people think if they touch me they're going to burst into flames. So.
Flaming eyes, I imagine, kind of helps with that whole intimidating factor.
Well, that and the fact that I can command demon fire.
So you're fire and flames.
I'm trying to think of a monkey pun because I feel so outdone by Squigs, but I'm drawing a fucking blank.
Well, you don't have to push yourself to monkey around, as it were.
Don't you mean that you have a little bit of
You don't have to
Thanos
you don't have
fire?
to ape you don't have to No, you don't have to ape Squigs. It's okay. You can just be yourself.
Yeah.
Like I said, monkey is a racial slur, so if you could not, that'd be great.
Well, I mean, there's always a banana peel for me to slip on somewhere. I'm sorry.
Or else you're going to burn out.
Oh yes.
How could we?
See,
Shit,
you've got monkey puns and fire puns. Come on. That, and we have all the Asian jokes that we can that we can
Wait,
shake
Asian?
an opium pipe at.
Of course. Yes, if you couldn't tell, my character is based completely off of the Monkey King. So just put up with me. I might try and sell opium to myself at some point, or my character might try and buy it. So can't promise that my character is going to be the cleanest of participants.
I mean, to be fair, I mean, how else are you supposed to deal with the occasional ass whooping that you that you go through in the pits?
Well, I mean, that's it exactly. I mean, nothing saves lives like opium. If anything, it's a fucking amazing.
That and maybe a bit of pleasurable companionship. But however, this unit seems to be a little bit on the different case. Speaking of, we do have a very interesting individual that is working here in Johnsonville. Not quite sure what her vocation is, but well, I think I'll let her introduce herself.
Well, I'm Carla Perillion, and I'm the I came from a different place. I I used to assassinate high people, but well, I got on a different case, which led me to this pretty weird town. But if I tell you who I'm looking for, I might need to kill you too.
Oh boy.
And our storyteller is just gone to the toilet.
Yeah.
Don't make me go and get a flea collar. I'm gonna buy a spray bottle as soon as I fucking can.
Oh, don't worry. I don't get fleas.
You don't have fur, so
I mean, synthetic fur.
but fleas
synthetic
bite,
fur. Yeah.
fleas bite skin, and I don't have skin.
We got a.
Because I'm not only a perfect cat. I'm also a wonderful android.
I've always wondered how android girls do they dream of electric sheep, or is it more of a rabbit kind of thing that they think about?
Wow, Gator.
Oh, sorry,
no,
I
I didn't
wasn't
go
displaying a
anywhere.
stream, don't
Clearly,
worry.
I didn't go anywhere. What are you talking about?
I
What did I miss?
saw it. I saw it.
Shh, dude, pay no attention to the man behind the screen.
I feel like we got ourselves a whiskery milk cap here.
So,
I don't know how long
in summary of what you said there, Feldy, what exactly do you do here in Johnsonville?
Well, as I said, I'm looking for someone.
Oh. So a foreigner in a foreign land. You've come from outside the Wasteland.
Pretty much.
Interesting. So it seems that you're a little bit more durable than most. Huh. It's very interesting. One wonders how you could brave the radiation and the desolate wasteland out there.
Well, if you would knock against me, you might hear a little bit of a clong. So.
Alrighty. Well, that being said, I think that brings us to our other individual here in Johnsonville, and seems to be a fairly confused fellow. But if nothing else, he's pretty quick on the draw.
I have my moments. Not so much that I'm fast, as the world seems to stand still.
Oh, is that so? Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, Mr. What is this? Mr. Anderson, is it?
John. You can just call me John.
Right.
Everything's changed now. To me, it was like yesterday. I have bits and pieces like fragmented pages off a torn journal, burned away by the ravages of time. Everything seems out of sequence. I find myself here of all places.
Wait, are you telling me that you were around for the before time?
I remember it. What little I can remember. Too many different things. Too many different moments. Too many different things. I get confused sometimes. Horrible mistakes are committed, but I am trying my best.
Well, that being said, as a confused fella in this kind of rough world, this frontier land, what do you do around town? You happen to be a tradesman? Do you work at the local bar, maybe?
Yeah. I do a little bit of everything. Terms.
And
Funny enough, entertainment. Turns out if you can read people quick enough, it almost seems like magic.
Oh, interesting. Just happened to con a few beers worth of money out of the local drunks. or maybe put on a bit of a show for the kiddies, for a few cats.
More of a show.
More of a
Man
show.
should always aspire to speak the truth, or at least not to lie. That's what the book says.
The book. What is this?
The book. The rules for which I conduct myself through life. I'm surrounded by chaos, and now I must make sense of it. I must dive into the underworld and save myself.
Only yourself.
Well, I can't
You have
remember
to
my
slay
father.
the dragon.
The dragon is chaos. It's everywhere. Interaction between men is often punctuated by the potential for violence. Sometimes it must bloom into death and I walk in its shadow. I don't mean to, but they don't give me a choice.
Seems to be a fairly intense individual. We'll have to see where that leads us. Speaking of intense individuals, seems to be a fellow dressed in heavy robes off on the side, just trying not to bring too much attention to himself. He almost looks a bit bulky in all of that, but maybe he might be willing to tell us a little bit about himself. How about you, stranger? Haven't seen you around these parts.
Because I'm not around these parts.
Oh.
I came from somewhere else. I don't really remember much about it. All I remember is there was a giant sign that used to say Lay's out front.
God fucking damn it! Oh, I couldn't hold that. I couldn't hold that shit. Sorry, go on. Well, that is indeed a strange portent to one's own the beginning of one's own memories. I mean, surely you must remember a childhood or something like that.
Nope. I think I remember a name. Most of the time, people just call me Kuro. It's good enough for me.
Huh.
Must be that bad memory disease going around.
Well, I mean, it seems to be here. You have a bit of a thing written on the sleeve of that cloak that you're wearing. KH4RN. Is that some kind of numeric designation?
Yeah, but I can't really tell you much about that. You see, you're not certified just yet. I'm sure that once I can trust more people in this area, I might actually tell somebody. But right now, it'll just say Karn.
Well, that being said, Kuro, you have a fairly odd cut to your jib, but surely you must contribute to society somehow. I mean, everybody has to pull their weight in this sort of frontier space. What do you do around town?
Lately I've just been working as been doing some security work, guarding some of the local buildings. Nothing too extreme. People pay all right, but lately it just seems like they've been dying off without me there to protect them. Makes it to where people were willing to pay more, but jobs are kind of falling off lately, and a man's got to eat.
Yeah, that's damn true. I mean, despite your sort of mysterious flavor there, you do seem to at least be more of a trustworthy sort, kind of a law and order stand-up kind of guy. I mean, you do square your shoulders when you walk and whatnot. Maybe perhaps some military background or something, but who knows, in all truth. That being said, that is the introduction to all of the cast of characters that you will all come to get to know in the adventures across Ruined Earth.
Too
Hopefully
bad
you all
it's
enjoyed
not
that.
Planet Bob.
Yeah.
Huh? It's
Too
not
bad it's not Planet Bob.
Oh, Planet. Oh my God.
Earth number 2.
God.
Oh boy.
No, it's Bob.
It's Planet Bob.
Planet Dan. This is
Uh,
the insides of the skull from the campaign, by the way.
Oh.
Ooh, sounds good.
It might be. There might be some things that are linked. You never know. I mean, this is
Exactly.
multiverse. This is multiverse overlays. So.
Yeah.
Why'd it have to be a cat? Why couldn't it have been a fox?
That's right. Tin Man over here is. Oh, he's got a bit of a quest there, I suppose.
Wait, don't you mean
something about a
Titan
folder?
Man?
Whoa!
Whoa.
Damn!
That's a
Why?
player problem.
Get it?
Alright.
A kite
Whoa.
Tin Man?
Yeah. God damn it! So
Is it still going on?
No, it stopped.
The noise,
It's-
no. My
yeah.
puns, yes.
Put your
Oh,
phone
boy.
in the other room, man.
I have. Well, I just threw it across the house.
Okay.
Don't worry, it landed on something soft if anyone's worrying about my phone. I know that there's a few mechanical components in this campaign.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're a little bit they're a little bit sensitive, you know, modern tech and whatnot. It's just, you know, it doesn't work too well with analog interference. I mean, the cell towers aren't exactly what they used to be.
Exactly.
But that being said, it seems to be an everyday sort of day here in Johnsonville.
Mm-hmm.
As far as it goes, our players seem to have filled in their sheets, I believe. Yes?
I'm working on it now.
Working
I
on
haven't
it.
rolled for my ability score.
Yeah.
I haven't done any of
there's
that
ability
yet. I'm
scores
gonna
to
do that
roll.
on stream.
Okay. So we have ability scores to roll for. All right. Let's go ahead and pull up the character creation here in the GammaWorld in the GammaWorld manual here. This is the player's guide. Now this is not only just a player's guide, but it's also a DM's guide. So if you at home would like to play along or host your own campaigns and whatnot, we're going to go ahead and go through step by step the creation of a character. It might be a little bit tedious for some, but as far as this goes, this is our 0 session, and as far as it is, it's mainly to get you used to this world, get you to know our characters and the like, and maybe get a little bit more introduced into the system. So, that being said, that being said, we're going to go through some of the basics that you're going to go with. Now, this is based on Dungeons & Dragons 4th edition, which gets a bum rap as far as I'm concerned, but it is still a Dungeons & Dragons system. It is a D20 system. So, you're going to be rolling a lot of D20s, and you're going to be wanting to roll them high. You will have modifiers for all of your stats and skills, similar to what we have in our 5e game. And you're going to be doing the same comparative number clash on these rolls. So you're trying to best an opponent's AC, or in this case, in this game, you have other defense modifiers such as Fortitude, Will, and Reflex. Now, these different defensive stats will differ between each of our different characters here, and you will see that as we go through. This also extends towards skill checks, where I, as the GM, will set the difficulty for these different skill checks for people to be able to pass, similar to what we have in our 5e games. So, but the difference being is that there are a different set of skills that exist within Ruined Earth here. Now, these skills for GammaWorld are mostly kind of different flavored from what you tend to expect from Dungeons & Dragons games. So, you will see different things. But one of the key differences between GammaWorld and standard Dungeons & Dragons play is the gear. Now, we're still working on getting a method of distributing gear to players on here as cards. I will I'll be open to DMs if anybody would like to send me snipped up cards or things like that, resources for GammaWorld and the like. I am more than happy to incorporate it, especially if it's like custom custom content created for the game, things like that. If you enjoy this sort of thing, so do not hesitate. If you're watching this from my Discord or from the Saints Discord, you already have access to send me a DM at any time. I accept it from anybody. So, yeah, do not hesitate to send me any ideas or things. Also, that also goes for campaign and area ideas for certain dungeons and quests for the party here to sort of have to muddle through.
And there's special consideration given to that of patrons.
Oh yes, very much so.
Yes,
patrons
absolutely.
do get preferential treatment. If you are not aware, I have a Patreon, patreon.com/RedStarAlchemy, one word. As long as you are donating $5, that gives special consideration towards any sort of routes that the D&D campaigns will take in that regard. We will take ideas from you guys and try and work to create something interesting that you want to watch. So, that being said, we're going to go ahead and we're going to go over some of the basics here. Using cards, the D&D GammaWorld game introduces an unusual element to Dungeons & Dragons games. Collectible cards that represent your most powerful or unusual mutations and items of advanced technology that you possess. These are known as alpha mutations and omega tech. You can play using only the starter cards of the game that come in the game box, which is, we have this here. But players can create customized characters by building his or her own alpha mutation and omega decks from booster packs. Likewise, a game master can also customize his or her own decks. Now, this goes towards me creating monsters and things that the party will have to face. That's why I'm saying, if you guys pick up on how to make this stuff or you look it up, I will be more than happy to slip it into the game, because this is semi-deck building. Now, before the Game Master sorts the cards from each starter deck by type, creating a Game Master's Alpha Mutation deck and a Game Master's Omega Tech deck. He then shuffles them and keeps them separate. These decks might also include additional cards from booster packs and blah 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 blah. All the cards in the game box are part of the Game Master decks. Players can either use the Game Master decks or create their own decks from booster packs. Each player created deck must include at least 7 cards of the proper type, mutation, or tech, and can't have more than 2 copies of any specific card. No fair filling your Omega Tech deck with nothing but fusion rifles. So, keep that in mind. So, using cards in play. The Game Master doesn't use cards for the monsters or villains. I will caveat that because I will use that sometimes. They're only for player characters. Sometimes players draw cards from the Game Master's decks, and sometimes they draw from their own decks, if they have decks. If not, they draw from the Game Master's decks by default. A card can be in one of 3 locations. The draw deck. Cards that you haven't drawn yet are in the draw deck. There are 2 draw decks, one from the Alpha Mutations card and one for the Omega Tech cards. If you have your own deck, shuffle each one separately before play begins, and then keep them face down. You might know what's in your own deck, but you do not know what specific card is going to come up. So this is sort of like reaching into your backpack or your bag and trying to pull something in the heat of the moment to be able to fight with. Readied, when you draw a card, you place it face up on the table and it becomes readied. So, essentially, equipping. You place it on the table face up and it becomes ready. While you have a card readied, you can use the power or benefit described on it. You can only have a limited number of Alpha Mutation cards readied at one time, dictated on page 66, but you can have any number of Omega Tech cards readied. Readied Omega Tech cards remain readied. They are in play until you use them. So that is the big difference. You have a limited number of mutations that have bubbled up inside of you from all the radiation, diseases, and things that exist out here in the Wasteland. Whereas, because your body has a certain limit to it, whereas the Omega Tech, You can have like plenty of different things, like different implants and whatever that are built into your body, or guns and the like. You have strapped all over you, and knives. You know, it really is sky's the limit in imagination on a lot of this sort of stuff. You also have a discard pile. This sort of goes without saying. This is the stuff that you've already used up. Put cards you have expended in the discard pile. Do not return them to your draw deck. Discard your alpha mutation cards at the end of each encounter, even if you did not use them. You also discard them if you experience an alpha flux. If you use the power of an Omega Tech card during an encounter, at the end of that encounter, make a check to determine if the card remains readied or you have to discard it. So you might overload some of the tech that you have. Bear in mind that this world is kind of battered and haggard. So certain tech cards will be more prone to breaking and stuff. But you do have the ability to salvage these tech components if you ever break them. During extended rest, reshuffle your alpha mutation cards and your omega tech cards back into their respective draw decks. Now, we can go, later on, we will go to pages 66 and 69 to go over some of the more detailed information about the alpha mutation and omega tech cards, but that might be for a separate video. But for right now, we're going to move on to rules of combat, which is going to be a fairly large portion of this campaign. Gamma Terra is a violent place, or in this case, Ruined Earth is a very violent place. Combat is basically pure chaos, but our game model doesn't do pure chaos well, so instead, combat is organized into a cycle of rounds and turns, similar to that of standard issue D&D. We have a round, which in a round of combat, every combatant has taken at least one turn, and in a full turn, on your turn, you take actions in any order that you want. See the actions page. So the turn is basically everyone's individual portion of a round. So bearing that in mind. Combat sequence is basically following these steps. You determine surprise. Game Master decides if either side is surprised, which is basically you guys have snuck up on the enemy or anything of that nature. You were successfully in stealth, or you happen to blunder into enemies and they were not expecting you in the first place, or perhaps you guys are all huddled over the side of a cliff and you're looking down over the enemies and it's just like, alright guys, fuck it, they don't fucking notice us or anything like that, we're gonna jump down, we're gonna bash their fucking heads in with goddamn sledgehammers.
That'd be good for change.
Right?
Yeah.
2, you're going to establish your positions on the battlefield. The Game Master shows the players where they can place their character tokens on the battle map. Then the Game Master places the monsters in their starting positions. So essentially, think of it a bit like like Final Fantasy Tactics or something like that, in which you have certain areas designated for your troops to be able to file out at, so your characters to be able to file out at. So it's like, okay, we notice the enemy, we're going to kind of like run for cover here, and then, you know, everything can kind of follow from there. So from there, you will roll your initiatives, which is standard to every D&D game. Roll d20 plus your initiative value, and that determines the turn order of the game. Then you take surprise round actions. If any combatants gained a surprise round against their enemies, they act in initiative order, each taking a single action. So this is back where we were talking about you with the sledgehammers up on the cliff. If you were able to, you know, if you are successful in surprising your enemy, well, then you are able to go in there and you get a free turn whacking them in the nuts. So from there, you take your turns in initiative order, same as usual. Highest goes first, and then from then down. Now, I like to roll things. Sorry about that. I like to roll things in my games, as the players here have experienced, where the enemy monsters, the mobs, they have their own singular value that determines their entire lineup for where it goes. Otherwise, it takes a little while to roll a lot of initiatives for this sort of thing. with certain exception. From there, you will begin the... after you take your turns, you go ahead and begin the next round, and it continues until all enemies are dead. Same as usual. And why are you guys posting fucking...
It's Karn.
God damn it. No, it's Karn and Dap.
Yeah.
You fucking tards.
Sorry about the interruption. They're posting Warhammer 40k memes.
Yeah.
I am not posting for Warhammer 40k memes. I'm reacting to Warhammer.
Yeah, exactly. You're encouraging him. But also, one other thing to always bear in mind, always round down, no matter what is going on in this game. Sometimes the game asks you to figure out half a number. If your result includes a fraction, always round down, even if the fraction is 1/2 or larger. For example, if you have 23 hit points, your bloodied value is 11, not 12. So keep that in mind. From there, I will go ahead and dictate what actions are. Now, we talked about this a little bit before the game, but I will go over some of these things, maybe clear up some stuff. Maybe I'm a bit rusty and I didn't explain it correctly before game. So, for each turn, a character or creature consisting can use up to 3 actions: a standard action, a move action, and a minor action. A standard action, you can normally take 1 standard action during your turn. Most attack powers and basic attacks require the use of a single standard action. You have a move action. You can normally take 1 move action during your turn. Moving your speed requires the use of a move action. Now, every character has a speed value, and that is what you use for that move action, however much area that is. And then you have a minor action. Minor action is usually a small adjustment or an activity that doesn't include moving or attacking. For example, using your second wind during an encounter, drawing a weapon, opening a door, or picking up a small item can be considered minor actions. However, I will say, if it is like, say, you threw a fucking brick at somebody and hit them in the head, and you run by and you see the brick on the floor, I will go ahead and count it as a free action to pick up that brick, if it's not like buried in something or whatnot, where you actually have to take a moment to sort of like sort it out and pull it back up. And that is the other type of action, free actions. Things that don't take any real time or effort are free actions. You can take as many free actions as you want during your turn or anyone else's turn, as allowed by the Game Master. Dropping a held item or talking are free actions. Feel free to shout advice or yell for help. That is definitely a good thing to do. So if you are out there and you guys are split up and somebody gets fucking ambushed by a ghoul or something coming out of the fucking walls, scream. by all means, scream and let your friends know that you're being attacked, because that way they can come running and help you. You also have, in addition to that, opportunity actions. When an enemy lets its guard down near you, you can take an opportunity attack if you are armed with a melee weapon. Only melee weapons. You can take the opportunity attack only if the creature in question provokes it. You can only use 1 opportunity action per turn. You can't use it on your turn. So basically, if an enemy is, like, let's say you have 2 enemies, they're rushing past you. First enemy rushes past, you hit them in the butt, you know, you just get your sword and you just use it as a paddle and just pop!
Bam.
Right in the ass. Get the first guy. Second guy passing through, you're not going to be able to hit him, because at that point, you're already on the backswing of your attack. So bear that in mind. It also goes for when certain allies get grant advantage and things like that, where they give their allies an attack of opportunity on enemies that make an action. So, Bar, you keep that in mind. You also have immediate actions. Some powers use immediate actions to interrupt or react to something another creature does. The specific power defines exactly what triggers the action. You don't have to use an immediate action when it's triggered, however, but you can't use it unless it's triggered. You can use 1 immediate action per round, and you can't use it on your turn. There are 2 kinds of immediate actions: interrupts and reactions. So these are basically, an interrupt allows you to trigger it before the other is resolved. So, like, let's say somebody is shooting at you, and you can use an interrupt to, like, let's say with the regenerator, you're able to jump in the way of enemy bullets. So before it's resolved an attack on an ally, you can jump in the way of those bullets and just take them and be, and be, do whatever the effects follow as that. And so it completely negates out, what the initial effect is and substitutes its own effect. Whereas reaction actions are similar to what you might have seen in D&D 5e with my imps or standard issue tieflings, in which you have hellish rebuke. So you get hit and you're like, damn, fuck you, I hate you, and fucking hold out your hand, and a shotgun of fire goes out and burns the enemy to a crisp as a result of getting hit.
Just to clarify, these replace standard actions?
No, these are all considered like basically their own individual actions in that regard. So that you can only do them once per turn. So you can't you can't just stack a bunch of them on it. So even though you have, like, let's say you have 2 immediate actions, and you get them triggered twice, you can only use one of those to be able to do it. Same thing with opportunity attacks. Free actions are the only thing that you can take infinite number of.
Gotcha.
So, I think that pretty much covers how all of the attacks and things sort of, or not the attacks, but how the turn system functions in this, comparative to what we're used to in 5e, right?
Right.
Okay. By the way, if you guys have any questions, feel free to prod me with such.
No, I think we'll wait until we're in a live fire situation before I...
Yeah.
Crap. I closed it. No! Okay. Scrolling.
Actually, so drawing a melee weapon, because someone's passing you in an opportunity attack, that would be a minor or free action? In case you don't have one ready.
Drawing a melee is a minor action.
Well, either you have it ready, or you're not going to be able to. If you didn't have one.
Well, readying, pulling from your deck is basically equipping. So it's you pulling out your Pip-Boy and boop 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 boop. Yeah, it's, equip your weapons and whatnot. But you can have multiple things equipped at once.
Gotcha.
All right. Where did we? Scrolling.
Turns.
Because I accidentally goofed at clicking out of the thing. There's a Megatech and salvaging. This is definitely, as I mentioned before, a very gear-reliant game. You guys don't have very much in the realm of powers, so to speak. So, as a result, you make up for it with your different mutations that you can draw from your deck, as well as your, how do you call
Omega Tech?
As well as your Omega Tech, so your equipment. So, as time goes on, as a GM, I will actually, depending on what you are able to loot, you will be able to add things to your own deck to draw from. This will be considered, quote-unquote, your inventory. Alright, so these are the different types of characters. So, we're gonna go ahead and skip down after a bunch of all that other stuff, because I do worry that might be putting a few people watching to sleep. We're just going to go and dive right into making your characters. So, your character is your persona or avatar in D&D GammaWorld. He or she, since it is, you might be playing a plant or something, or it, since you might be playing a plant or something, is a combination of the fantastic, superpowered hero or adventurer you imagine in your mind's eye, and the game's rules that describe exactly what that character can do and how the character interacts with the world. What mutations does your character possess? Is he or she strong, agile, or brilliant? What sort of person is your character? A calculating mercenary, an overly curious scholar, or perhaps a driven bounty hunter? Are you a tribal sage eager to explore deeper into the mysteries of the ancients? A mutated pantheroid whose silent approach brings death to your enemies? An android stranded in Grantera from some more advanced world, determined to drive back the darkness and ignorance that surrounds you? It's all up to you. Well, not exactly. Now that you have your ideal character firmly fixed in your mind, pick up some dice and start rolling to see what sort of bizarre freak you're actually going to play. Sorry, that's life in GammaTerra. Now that you understand how it is, here are the basic rules for building a character explore the dangerous world. Now, mind you, we have already done the base roles for what characters that everybody here is going to be playing. I have allowed them the option of being able to choose whether or not that they were going to play as pre-rolled characters, where you take 2 d20s and roll those to see on a chart what species and thing that you become. Whereas they instead, like traditional D&D, you simply choose. I gave them the option between those two, and most people here decided to choose as instead of just simply rolling for it. Though we did have some fun seeing some of the possibilities.
Oh yeah.
So
And a lot of ideas.
very much so.
Insanity.
This setting lends to itself a huge plethora of different ideas. You're not just limited to sci-fi stuff. You can be absolutely fantasy characters. You can be your own Doctor Strange if you wanted to, as I believe Dap was offering before settling on his Monkey King character. So
I can just say that I'm Dr. Shroom. Ah!
There we go.
That joke was bad, and you should feel bad.
all right, so
I think everyone in the party's gonna have a roll of duct tape.
the problem is he could probably grow a mouth elsewhere on his
Exactly.
person.
You
Well,
could say
if
I have
that's the
some
case,
hot lip.
I got enough duct tape for everyone.
Oh god, I just
if I
realized
need to.
something. I just realized something
What?
terrible.
Oh
You're
my
a
god.
psychic mushroom.
Oh, it's just
Nah,
gonna
just
come
a
into my
mushroom.
head.
No,
Oh,
like
no.
you're related to myconoids. Myconoids do not have mouths. They do not speak. You do not have a mouth. So essentially, you communicate directly into people's minds. You're a psychic fucking mushroom.
Yes.
Well,
You're a
it's a good
fucking
thing
goddamn
that,
psilocybin mushroom that grew a consciousness.
Oh.
And
it's,
has bad puns.
it's a good thing that I control demonic fire, then, isn't it?
Oh boy.
I guess you'd say that the only way to defeat me is St. Elmo's fire. Ah!
God damn it. Well,
I am gonna
In case
fucking
in the
burn
context
you
of the
for
joke,
this,
St. Elmo's fire is a special type of disease that's caused by a type of rye smite.
god fucking damn it. Leave it to the mycologist to actually play as a living mushroom. Or a
think
sentient
it might be
mushroom, I should say.
A sentient mushroom with bad puns and a knack for mad sciencing.
God damn it. So, that being said, character mortality, fusion rifles, mutated predators, irradiated death zones, and berserk battle robots mean that there's often a high penalty for failure in Ruined Earth. Unlike many other role-playing games, magical healing or resurrection from death aren't exactly common in D&D GammaWorld. If your character is killed, it doesn't mean that you're a bad player or even that you made a stupid decision. Well, maybe not. Bad luck and dangers that you had no fair chance to see coming are part of the game. So, when your favorite mutant is blown to atoms by a warbot with photon missiles, raise a glass of... I'm not even going to read that because that is cringy. Mountain Dew is disgusting. Raise a glass of whiskey to his or her memory, and then get to work rolling up your next character. Your new mutant is around the next corner. Wait to join the party of heroes and take up their quest. In the same way...
Mountain Dew whiskey, code red.
Code Kentucky.
Oh my god, I actually ran into somebody that actually drinks Mountain Dew mixed with vodka, and I actually retched. I physically retched when they said it.
You mix, you gotta go full redneck. You gotta mix Jack Daniels with Mountain Dew.
Why? That's terrible. That's
there are children watching this.
I guess you'd say that it's it's for my brains that I know this.
Oh boy.
Squig, I'm gonna use your head as an ashtray.
Don't worry. You can use my head as a turkey tail.
Oh god. But speaking of, give me like 2 seconds. I need to excuse myself real quick.
Okay.
And to those watching, yes, they're all going to be puns about mushrooms and funguses.
Doctor, if I bite in your head, might I get high?
Oh my god. Wait.
Yeah, that's a good question. Are you a psilocybin mushroom? Or are you just a button mushroom? Because you're pushing mine right now, mate.
Damn, that's actually a hard one. I'm trying to think. I guess you say that I'm a false death cap, if you will.
Are you an oyster?
Not an oyster.
Oh,
I am on the upper crust of society.
Oh.
Oh, okay. So you're
But you could say that you guys can help me being my destroying angels.
No. Fuck you.
Okay, in the 20 seconds that it took me to take a piss, how many puns did Squigs make?
You don't want
4.
Please.
Damn.
And I thought I was fast.
Fucking shit. Yeah, I'm drinking this lovely
I
Shiner
should say
Golden
that
Ale,
I'm
and it's
kind
like
of,
going through me like a goddamn
the
sieve.
flirt of the group.
That being said, continuing on, the overview of character creation goes as follows. Number 1, roll your character origins.
Done?
We've already done this. This is the character origin. It's the package of traits and powers that all go together. A D&D GammaWorld character is a combination of 2 origins. So essentially, each character here has 2 different things that they are. In the case of Feldy, she is playing an android felinoid, which is a robot cat
The other
girl.
way around.
Felinoid android. There we go.
Oh, I haven't.
It's important.
I'll feel annoyed if you know what I'm saying.
Give me a second.
In the case of Dap, he is playing as a demonic simian. Yes.
Simian.
Squigs is playing
demonic
as
Simon.
demonic Simon. Yeah. You just re at a very high pitch and seem to dress as a dwarf all day. In the case of Squigs, he is playing a mind-controlling fungus, funganoid. Fungal? He's a goddamn. He's a mind controller. He's a goddamn walking cordyceps. That's what he is.
I'm not walking cordyceps.
He's a fungadude.
He's a fungadude. He's a fungi.
Fungi.
And in Bar's case, he is playing as a
speedster, hypercognitive.
Yes. So very fast.
Fast of body and mind.
Yeah. Fast talking and fast moving. Probably fast fucking too. I just fucked you. I just fucked you again.
Hey, you want to see me fuck this prostitute? You want to see me do it again?
The only fast fucking is
gonna
gonna
do it again? In the case of Karn, he is playing as a antimatter engineered humanoid. So he's got a bit of a funky one on him, but it'll be interesting to see where he goes with it. That being said, since we already have all of the character origins done, we're going to go straight into assigning ability scores. Your ability score determines describes your innate capability in 6 different areas: strength, constitution, dexterity, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma. So the standard D&D array there. Each of your origins indicates its primary ability. You get a score of 18 in the primary ability of your first origin, and a score of 16 in the primary ability of your secondary origin. If the primary abilities are identical for both origins, then you instead get a 20 for those ability scores. For the rest of the unassigned ability scores, roll 3 6-sided dice, which are 3 d6, and record the result for each. So, I don't know if you all have gone ahead and rolled these.
I have
I
not
did.
actually.
Okay. Let's go ahead and like just roll these on here. Feldy, go ahead and post up what your results were, because I do not see them recorded on here.
Let me quick because I got it.
This is funny. I seem to have rolled in 4 nat 20s.
Oh, on D6. Wow, that's really skilled.
That's a very cool trick.
Is it the same as the original D&D?
/ roll 3d6. That's what you're rolling.
Well, I'm kind of smoking a cigarette, so I'll be up there in a bit.
Flash.
Okay.
Should I just post them in the chat?
Yes, please.
This.
All right.
What I got.
Did you see my picture of my summoner, by the way?
And those were
When did you show
3d6
to
that
the
you
stream?
rolled?
Is he
Yes,
got
Filthy Frank.
Yeah.
This was the scientist who was working with rhesus monkeys at Johnson and Jensen.
Yes,
and
exactly.
he accidentally
Summoned a demon.
accidentally summoned a demon to one of the monkeys that he was working with.
If you imagine a simian version of Doom, that's kind of what happened.
Ah.
That is a lot
Kind
of
of.
shit.
So as for Feldy, she is starting with a strength of 15, a dexterity of 18, a constitution of 11, an intelligence of 16, a wisdom of 11, and a charisma of 15. So a +2, +4, +0, +3, +0, and +2. All right. Bar, you rolled a d20.
14 to strength?
No. You misrolled that. It's do
three,
slash.
I am so sorry.
Yeah.
Slash roll
3d6.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wait.
Quick question. I'm trying to figure out the psychic secondary origin. I'm not able to find it.
That is in the primary book. So the GammaWorld base set folder. Look in there and open the core rule book.
Let me see if I got the code right this time. Rolling the dice.
You mean,
Yes, quick.
say,
God, it's almost like you weren't
Famine
here
and
last
Fargo?
night.
No. Base. It's the base one. Base. GammaWorld base
Base.
set. That's the folder.
Okay.
Oh, I got a strength of 10.
No. Mind you, you can set these wherever you want.
Ah, okay.
Yes.
Just gonna roll.
So yeah, these are.
No,
just
there's only
rolling
1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, you
4
only have
rolls,
4.
and I'll lower them.
Yeah, four rolls, and I will. It'll just be the 4 rolls.
Okay. Let me just. Then I'm gonna copy paste. So I'm
Okay.
gonna have to type this.
You got a 10 there.
A 9.
A 9. Ooh, bad luck there, old boy.
Yeah, well, it happens.
Well, the nice thing is that you get your +2 every level, I believe, in 4E.
Origin of his...
6.
6. Holy shit, you are bad luck, man.
Oh,
Yeah,
boy.
it was bound to happen sometime. There's one more.
After Quarto, I think you burned out all your luck.
Yeah, had to happen, but
Good that I'm 3 colored.
but I'm actually know when I'm gonna place that 6, so should be fine.
Is it going to be in charisma?
No, it's gonna be an intelligence.
Ah,
Because-
yeah, that makes
Whoa.
sense. Because he's...
Whoa,
Whoa.
Whoa.
I mean,
Far out.
You mean
Like-
I can dodge bullets?
when the time comes, I won't have to.
I wonder if anyone in the chat's gotten who he's meant to be yet. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink.
Just just leave his dog alone.
Hey,
Or else
mister, leave that dog alone.
Oh god.
Roll 3d6, and here we go for the last one.
Righto.
13.
13. That ain't bad. That ain't bad.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
So 10, 9, 6, and 13. So you got 2 negative mods that you need to figure out where to stick them.
Ooh.
Mhm. Well, I gotta go with 13 charisma
Okay.
because, after all,
Yeah. You're a fairly charismatic fellow. You're an entertainer in your day job.
Mm-hmm. I will go with the
No, you get
9 intelligence.
Okay.
you get pluses on certain stats from your origins as well, don't you? So
I think
Yes,
For
you
for-
get bonuses from your origins as well.
so for example, for my simian trait, I get a +4 to my athletics checks.
That is a skill. That's a skill.
Yeah.
So your athletics will gain a +4 as a result.
Yep. And
Sorry, I'm gonna go with no. Actually, I'm gonna go with 6 intelligence because
Okay.
he's highly confused. All that processing mentally went to some areas, not others.
You think fast, not very hard.
Faster? Yeah.
I fucking love that.
Hey, faster isn't better.
Have you seen what's on the stream bar? I think your surprise may have been cut short.
Oh God.
Oh, someone posted.
Yeah,
No.
devil.
Yeah. Okay. 6, which means I have Constitution.
Righto.
14,
Okay.
6, Constitution of
Ooh,
9.
fried mushrooms. Oh.
A little bit below average because his metabolism is like burning itself rather quickly. That can affect him. And the strength of 10.
Righto.
Basically. And here we go. My attributes are decided. You boys will probably want to.
All right. So next up
So-
on the block, who's
Can
gonna
I start rolling now?
Yeah, go
It's
right ahead.
it's 3d6, isn't it?
3d6.
Right.
3d6
One.
for your 4 remaining stats.
2, 3.
13,
Ooh,
9,
13.
13. Oh, you're getting
Not
11.
bad.
12.
12. Ah, one, two.
One more.
One too many. You did one too many.
Wait a minute.
Did I?
Yeah, it's only
Yeah.
4.
13, 9, 13, 12.
Because one stat gets 18 and the other one gets 16 from your character, from your traits,
Oh, is
your origins. There we go.
So I've got 13, 9, and 16 to put somewhere.
Devil says Bar's character looks like a John.
Yeah.
A John of some sorts, yes.
Yeah.
It's burning in my mind, but I can't quite snuff that candle.
Yeah.
If only I knew what specific line of intelligence I needed to go down to get this.
They'd have to fall down the rabbit hole.
Mr. Anderson.
Yes, Mr. Anderson would be.
Mr. Anderson. Why do
So
you
it's
persist?
13, 9, 13, 12, isn't it? Okay, right. Let me just sit and figure this one out. You guys can carry on whilst I'm doing it.
While you're doing that, let's go ahead and get the others in
sec.
this. Squeak, so you're gonna go next.
Right. So it's
Slash-
intelligence. So Constitution is 18 because that's my first one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
Your
18.
second there.
My intelligence is 16.
Yeah.
And now,
And now you need the 4 rolls for the remaining ones.
Yeah. So slash roll space 3d6.
9,
All right.
14, god damn it.
Oh.
Nice.
13,
13.
Cool.
and 10.
10.
All right. You only got one
Yeah.
negative mod. That's pretty good.
I'm gonna do my negative mod to
Charisma, considering you kill everybody with puns and you drive them up the wall.
Yes. Well, I have mind control at that point.
Yeah, exactly. It's like
It's the only way we're gonna laugh at that.
Yeah, it's like I want to run away, but I can't. I'm compelled to stay
Okay.
and listen to more puns.
I was gonna say, I was gonna make 13 to Wisdom and 14 to Dex.
All right. So who's next?
Sorry about that.
While you're handling that, who's next?
I can go next if nobody else does.
Yeah, go right ahead. It's first come first serve in this, as far as I'm concerned. So after you, then it'll just be Feldy that needs to roll. Oh no, Feldy already rolled. That's right.
I already rolled.
You already have yours. Your 3d6 you rolled. So 10, 11, 11, and 14. Not bad. No negative
Not
mods.
bad at all.
God damn it.
What, you wanted a complete cripple?
No, I just wanted his. I want his rolls. I want his rolls. Can I have his rolls?
Oh, yeah, well.
It's the luck of the draw on this one.
yeah.
Luck of the draw on this one, man.
I also
Make it
wanted
work.
16 charisma. It's not gonna happen.
You never know. You
Whoa.
might find, you might stumble across a certain mutation. You never know.
Wild stallions.
Wild stallions.
God damn it, dude. That boy.
John
I'm
is
actually-
a man of, according to Devil, John is a man of focus, commitment, sheer will, something
Yeah,
people know
wisdom,
very
huh?
little about.
Oh my
I
god,
once
that is
saw
the
him
quote.
kill 3 men in a bar with a pencil, a fucking pencil. Then suddenly, one day, he has to leave. It's over a woman, of course. So I made a deal with him. I gave him an impossible task, a job that no one could have pulled off. The bodies he buried that day laid the foundation of what we are now. And then, my son, a few days after his wife died, you steal his car and kill his fucking dog.
God.
But of course, Mr. Anderson doesn't remember that.
No. But he does remember the dog. He's trying to find the dog.
Snuffles, right? Snuffles.
Snuffles. Trying to find
Yeah.
Snuffles.
Trying to find Snuffles. I think so, anyway.
Has anyone seen Snuffles?
Where's my dog? Bam, bam, bam.
Oh god.
Mind you, the bam, bam, bam is a fucking Barrett 50 cal. Bolt action.
It's a fucking SAS 12.
I mean, he's just pulling the bolt so fast that, like, the cartridge barely has time to slide in. It's like outspeeding the goddamn fucking spring on it. It's like, come on, come on, come on. Got there! Pa!
I mean, pretty much. It's like, it's little, his entire life is like a bullet time moment.
Where is she? Where's Snuffles?
That's not my voice.
That's not my voice. That's the guy next door. Bruce something or other.
Yeah. He's complaining about his knee.
Wait, quick question. You get a
What's up?
vocation, right?
What?
At level 1, we still get a vocation, right?
No,
No.
you do not. Not at level 1.
Okay.
That will happen later.
Yes. So, let's go ahead and check out the next thing on. Determine your skills. Skills represent the training, lore, and talents of your character has gained up to this point in their life. For example, acrobatics, mechanics, and stealth. Each of your origins provides one or more bonuses to specific skills. You also gain a +4 bonus to one random skill that you roll. So, in that regard, let's see, how many skills do you have on your sheet?
Acrobatics,
1, 2, 3,
athletics.
4, 5. 10.
You have
Yeah.
10? So roll
Yep.
1d10 to figure out where you get a +4 on
bonus.
it. And then just
I got
count down from the top.
interaction.
Countdown from the front. Start at acrobatics or start at stealth?
Let me look at your character sheets. Start at acrobatics.
1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, sweet. Perception. Fucking A.
Fuck!
So what is the bonus that we get?
Wait,
How do
I'll
we figure out
all
our
the-
bonuses on
How did
these?
you rolled a 1d0? And you rolled a
I-
d20. What is wrong
Keep
with
it.
you guys?
Keep it.
I forgot a 1. My
Keep it.
intelligence is too good, sorry.
It's too good. Keep it. You get a plus. You get a +4 and 19. So that's like 8 skills down or something like that. There you go.
Okay, Let me try again. Slash
Yeah,
roll
slash-
1d.
Yeah,
then
/1.
Suck! I needed science.
6. Let me see.
Mechanics.
Mechanics isn't bad. You at least know how to calibrate your equipment.
Yep.
No.
I got
No,
a
I already
double
have
bonus
mechanics.
for
I have
direction.
nature. I needed science.
I have
Too
something-
fucking bad.
Yeah, I got mechanics, which I really can't complain about.
I
Always a
mean,
useful overall skill.
yeah,
I got
really.
perception.
You know, when you're not too smart, you might as well get a trade job.
Jesus, dude, way to put down half the audience.
God,
What?
story of my life. Anyways,
I mean,
Gross knuckles.
mechanics, you know, you have to know how to clean
Wait,
those
did we put
guns.
the
Okay.
+4 in the miscellaneous?
No, we put it in Origins.
Yeah.
Okay.
so right
so-
now your characters are level 1, so you have your origin traits and your origin novice power available to you.
Those
I'm
are
just
handled.
I'm just asking, how do we figure out the rest of our skills bonuses? Are they just our ability score pluses?
Actually, you will check when you have your origins that you have
Yeah.
the list your skill bonuses. For example, in my character, as a speedster, mutant type dexterity, I have +2 to psi overcharge skill bonus.
Oh no, I've done
I
that.
gain a +4 to acrobatics.
Same.
I also have a +2 to reflex. I also
I
have a
have,
+2 to speed while wearing light armor, for example. So it will list any possible bonuses from your starting abilities and your origin types.
okay,
so,
but then
so
I've
like
got
all your other
things like
stuff
will
is
save,
okay. So
bone,
all of your other
and
skills.
fort and reflex.
Okay, so you see where it says Dex, Strength, Int, Wiz, and stuff next to all of your skills.
Yes.
You just plug in your what's it? You just take your
My
bonus that you got plus your
Okay.
modifier. Yeah. So all your relevant modifiers. So for your acrobatics will be equal to your in Bar's case your Dex modifier plus the
4.
bonus that you get.
Okay, so for example, acrobatics,
8.
it would be Dex +4, so I would have
8.
7 in my Dex bonuses. Okay.
For me, would be. Which we check +4 to acrobatics. So
But in one that I don't have, so say conspiracy is an intelligence check, I would just have my
Your
+1.
modifier.
Yeah, you're just your +1 modifier. Yes.
Unless I've got something specific in my origins that gives me
Yeah.
bonuses to conspiracy. Okay. Right, I'm following you now.
Righto. So anybody else need help on that, or
I got it. I'm just
I don't get it.
so mad. I wanted science.
okay?
Science,
Wait,
bitch.
Squigs, you have an 18 to your intelligence, don't you?
No, I was 60 to my intelligence. 80
Oh,
to
I'm
my
looking
con.
at I'm looking at your thing. So you get a +3 to science to begin with. So
yeah,
that's not
You already
bad,
have a
that's
bonus
not bad
there.
at all. That's a D20 plus
I need
3.
more science. I need to be the science. I am the science.
I mean, those values will
You're
go.
working
Those guys.
towards it. The problem is you spent too much time looking at porn. looking at pun manuals. That was the problem. Also, you are a fucking intelligent mushroom, so you're growing into
Oh,
it.
that's gonna be great because I already have +2 to AC, reflex, and will. I am set.
Oh, those are mine. Those
I have
saving
no-
throw things. How are the?
Oh yeah, no, I
Those
have
next?
no
I know.
armor equipped, and I already have a total AC of 16.
Ugh. Also,
Wait,
do not forget to set your HP to your max HP value, which I just did that for you, Squig.
So for my my simian class, I have +2 to bio overcharge. What does this mean?
Bio overcharge. Let's go ahead and look at the
Oh,
book.
sorry. No, it just says +2 overcharge.
Oh, when you
It's a
pull
bio
out the
attack.
When
cards,
you have
some
an-
of them allow to overcharge that particular mutation or a gadget,
Mhm.
as long as they belong to that category. Which makes you
So-
need to roll a d20. If you roll 10 or higher, you get to overcharge positively.
Yeah.
If you roll and the result is 10 or lower, you're gonna have a misstep instead.
Mhm.
With +2, that's gonna contribute for you rolling 2 more towards that 20 or 10 or higher for the end result.
Okay.
Whenever you pull bio cards out.
Yeah. So
Gonna go
biomutations you will gain bonus on.
When trying to overclock those. Yeah.
Yeah.
That much I do remember.
All right.
I'm asking questions because
No, it's fine. It's fine. We're gonna go to the next step here, which is gearing up. You choose your armor and the sort of weapons that you're carrying. You also start with an explorer's kit and some miscellaneous gear. So we're gonna go ahead and scroll down to page 71 in our books here.
In the base game, yeah.
Yeah. Also, Feldy, what exactly were you having trouble with on the stuff?
Everything. Let's do that after the session. Because I just.
So, we're all having some issues.
What page is this? 77, did you say?
71.
71.
71.
Yes. 71.
I'm terrible at
sorry about the
remembering anything.
yawning. I'm like the beer's hitting me a little bit and it's making me yawn.
I'm 4 pints deep. I'm starting to feel it a little bit as well.
Oh my god.
I need to stop drinking on stream because I'm gonna end up saying something really fucking inappropriate.
Yeah.
And I don't want to do that. I've got a terrible habit of making Gator's underwear a slightly darker shade of brown.
Fuck you. So, Ruined Earth is a dangerous place. If you want to make it to the next town, you'd better be well armed. Ancient firearms are the best choice for self-defense, but they're expensive, and you can't afford a gun, a sword, or a crossbow. If you can't afford a gun, a sword, or a crossbow, brain, not reading right. If you can't afford a gun, a sword, or a crossbow is an acceptable fallback. According to legend, the ancients bought the things that they need using dirty paper or little plastic cards. But among the towns and tribes, these aren't worth a whole lot. Merchants and local lords try to make coinage of precious metals, or repurpose ancient coinage by stamping it with their own emblems and values. Such currencies retain their values only in those limited domains, or among people that have the resources to burn on the pretty shinies. People throw around words such as silver dollars and gold bullion, but you can't eat such valuables, not without the right mutations. Barter is the rule of the day, especially in salvage lands. A handful of rifle bullets is worth a week's provisions or a good horse. Ancient devices are often worth at least a few dollars, even if they're old junk, since they can be stripped for parts and be used to keep other devices functional. Despite the fact that this is a corporate-owned region, a corporate-owned city-state, barter is very much the currency of the realm. So if you have things that the other person wants, they might be willing to trade you for one thing for the other, depending if they actually like it in that regard. So treat it a little bit like Fallout in that regard. Gear in Ruined Earth falls into two distinct tech levels. The tech that was common in most worlds before the Big Mistake, and high-tech items that were either common in only a few alternative worlds, or were available but were very rare in most worlds. Common tech is called scavenged gear. It includes everything commonplace, from weapons and cobbled-together armor to transport and canned foods. Everyone's got some, and sometimes it's worth trading for more or different scavenged gear. What everybody wants, however, are Omega Tech items. Omega Tech is better than what can normally be scavenged. These items come from the world's most advanced of the alternate worlds that appeared during the Big Mistake. The artifacts of these worlds are weapons and devices of awesome power, when they work. 150 years is a long time, and a lot of the initial pieces of Omega Tech were burned off in the chaos that followed the convergence. Functional devices of Omega Tech are priceless and rarely traded, bought, or sold. You acquire Omega Tech by finding it during exploration and adventures. So this is
basically the special cards.
Yeah, these are basically like you find a fucking fusion plasma gun or something like that. Things that
As long as the plasma shotgun, I'm good.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You probably like that is going to be Omega Tech finding a plasma shotgun. Scavenge gear. Anyone who travels more than a few miles from a place of safety in Gamma soon learns that it's wise to be prepared for anything. You need armor? What? What?
So I skipped ahead a little bit. I was reading the light melee weapon. This is an agile weapon, such as a pair of scissors.
No, I mean that's the great the great part about the system is you get to flavor.
Yes,
your
character carries.
Yeah. Or you could be clever about it. It's like, oh, you guys are like in what was an old schoolhouse. Oh, there's a pair of scissors there. Congratulations, you just found a pair of daggers. Okay, so starting gear. If you're in a hurry, take armor, 1 melee weapon, 1 ranged weapon, and an explorer's kit and call it good. That'll cover the basics. If you want more gear, roll on the starting gear table on page 75 to see what else you have acquired to this point. So, let's see here. Armor details, light armor. Covering that still lets you move around, protection that you can run in. While wearing light armor, you add your dexterity or intelligence modifier to your AC. Examples, leather dusters, umpire's padding sewn with chain links, shoulder pads, and straps of steel-belted radials over your vital areas, or maybe half a Kevlar vest. Heavy armor. Items that provide a solid defense, even though you're a slowpoke. While wearing heavy armor, reduce your speed by 1. Examples include riot gear, plate armor scavenged from the Museum of History, coveralls sewn with pots and pans, or mechanics overalls stuffed with lucky Bibles.
Yeah.
And you can also get
flavor indeed.
You can also get shields, something strapped to your arm that lets you deflect attack. Wearing a shield takes 1 hand, and you can't use that hand for anything else. Examples, a yield sign with leather straps bolted on, a chunk of winter tire with a handle added, or a snowboard with straps. So, your light armor gives you a +3 armor bonus to your AC, heavy armor gives you a +7 bonus to AC, and a shield gives you a +1 to your AC. Mind you, if you are using a shield, you cannot use a two-handed weapon, such as a rifle or the like.
Mm-hmm.
Or you will be.
What if you cut a hole in the shield so that you could put the barrel through?
That would actually be something clever. I might accept it. It'll take you some time to do it, but I might accept it.
Oh well, I'm not expecting to be a ranged character anyway. I want to beat people with a bamboo cane. Well, with a metal cane that's meant to look kind of bamboo-y.
Yeah.
Well, you can literally.
Well, I mean, the Monkey King did
I know
actually use a metal,
an iron rod. Yeah.
Yeah, iron rod. Okay, so as far as weapons go, you have light melee weapons. This is an agile weapon that rewards a certain level of finesse in melee combat. Examples, as Dapper said, a pair of scissors, a Bowie knife, short length of rebar, a machete, a Louisville slugger, or a souvenir katana. Heavy melee weapons. This is a direct weapon that requires some muscle to use effectively. Examples include a board with nails in it, a sledgehammer, an iron, an I-beam, a speed limit sign with the post, a parking meter, a television, and even a chainsaw. Light range weapons are swift, mobile weapons that you throw at your enemy, or it launches an easily crafted, easily collected projectile at the enemy. These weapons don't require ammunition, as said on page 74, because the game assumes that your character can find or make a new projectile as needed. Examples include a thrown knife, a dart, a makeshift sling, an icicle, a replica shuriken, or an aluminum compound bow. You have light guns. This is a swift mobile weapon that uses ammunition that you can't easily find or make for yourself. Guns require ammunition. Examples, a Glock or a Beretta, an assault rifle, a hunting rifle. Heavy ranged weapons. This is a slow but impactful weapon that you throw at an enemy or that launches an easily crafted or easily collected projectile at the enemy. These weapons don't require ammunition because the game assumes that your character can find or make new projectiles as needed. Examples, a thrown hand axe, a sizable rock, a table saw blade, a bowling ball, a potato gun, and an Olympic hammer.
A sizable rock.
Heavy
Seems
guns.
like it.
This is a swift mobile weapon that uses ammunition that you can't easily find or make yourself. Guns require ammunition. Example, a .45 Magnum, the most powerful handgun in the pre-mistake world. A shotgun, a small but portable autocannon. So, yeah, as far as it goes, proficiencies are not exactly a thing in this world, so to speak. So,
then you can go for crazy without having to sacrifice mechanical efficiency.
yeah.
So it's literally up to your flavor.
And also, if you are wanting to go completely kung fu in this shit, you have unarmed attacks of quick attacks and powerful attacks, which both scale off of your, in quick attacks, your dex and int, and powerful attacks scale off of your strength and con. You have a +3 weapon accuracy to quick attacks and a +2 to powerful attacks, and they deal 1d4 and 1d8 respectively. You have your light melee weapons, heavy melee weapons, light range weapons. Each one has its own thing. Heavy melee weapons, one-handed. You can either deal 1d10 or 2d8.
Oh dear God.
The most
two-handed weapon.
Yeah, the best that you can do ultimately is either a two-handed gun, which deals a 1d12, or a heavy two-handed gun, which deals 2d10.
Which is perfect for me, my shotgun scientist.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Because it's a constitution-based ability.
20 square range on it as well. Nice.
Ammunition. Bullets are a limited resource that you must use sparingly. In the D&D ruined, a GammaWorld game, ammunition is abstract. You either have ammo or you don't. If you don't, you can use ammunition to fire any weapon. If you do, you can use ammunition to fire any weapon that you have that requires ammunition. If you don't, you can't. If you use ammunition only once an encounter, you're managing your ammo reserves carefully. At the end of the encounter, you still have ammunition. That seems a little... If you use ammunition more than once in an encounter, you're going whole hog. You might as well rock and roll, because at the end of the encounter, you're out of ammo. You must acquire more before you can use that weapon that requires that ammunition again, or borrow some from an ally that's usually an ammo. Essentially,
it's an abstract resource, it seems.
Keep track of your ammunition as far as it goes. If you're using a fucking 44 mag, keep track of 44 mag shells that you find. So, basic attacks for using your weapon. Before you can tool around the wasteland with your refurbished classic 2008 Dodge with authentic imitation porker leather seats and aftermarket extendable hubcap swords, you'll need to have a firm grip on how to keep other interested parties from taking your stuff away from you. When you decide to use a weapon, most of the time you're using a basic attack. Basic attacks are an at-will. It is a physical damaging attack using your weapon. So you target one creature, melee or ranged, and the attack is strength or con or dex or int plus your level plus your weapon accuracy versus the target's AC. This on hit deals one of your weapon die's worth of damage plus strength or con or dex int modifier that is relegated to the type of weapon that you're using plus your level in physical damage. This is the basic weapon attack. You can use this at any time that you're holding a weapon. It's a melee attack if you're holding a melee weapon, or a ranged attack if you're holding a ranged weapon. The weapon determines the range of the ranged attack. The weapon you use determines which ability that you get to use, either strength or constitution or dexterity or intelligence, and you choose which ability of the pair suits you best and add the ability modifier to the attack roll and damage roll. The same apply for both. So gear, apart from weapons, there are other sorts of things that you might want to be carrying around in Ruined Earth, or riding in the case of the classic Dodge. Wow, they really like Dodges. Don't skimp. You never know when having stocked up on lamp oil will save you in the gamma ray ridden save your gamma ray ridden hide. At first level, you start off with 1 explorer's kit and everything in it. You also make 1d4 plus 1 rolls on the starter table if you prefer, and you can trade in your explorer's kit for an extra roll on the table if you're feeling adventurous. So, would anybody like to roll for their gear? Because I'm already giving you guys your 1 flavor item to each of you.
All right.
In Bar's case, he has his 12 rules for life.
Mm-hmm.
You just gave away the book, by the way.
I think we already gave it away before.
Yeah, let's not show it too much.
Well, what if we find an audiobook version? Like we find a YouTube server or something?
Oh my god, that'd be hilarious.
So what is it we need to roll again? We need to roll 1d20 per item, right?
You roll 1d4 and that
plus the number
plus
roll.
1, and that will tell you the number of rolls that you get on the table. So it's a d20 roll on those, but I need to see
the number rolls first.
3.
Okay, so you get what's it? You get 4 rolls. Josh, you get 5 rolls. So keep these in mind. All right. You get 4 rolls.
Whoa. 20, 19, 8, and 13.
Hold on real quick with those.
Well, hold on.
Yeah. Bar, you get 4 rolls. And Feldy, you get 5 rolls.
Actually, I get 3 because I'm already including the +1.
Yeah,
Most everyone here actually already included the +1 modifier.
Well, yeah, you got 3, so +1, that gets you 4 rolls.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, you already did the +1. Oh, never mind. So you get 3 rolls. Feldy gets 4 rolls. You get 3 rolls, Squigs. Josh, you get 4 rolls.
+1. I got 3 as well. So
yeah, you got 3. So those are the number of rolls that you get to go on to the
right.
thing.
Well, in that case, I'll re-roll.
Give me okay, for we're starting with that. Give me those rolls that you gave. So, what was your first one? The 20?
20, 19, 8, and 13.
One at a time. So, you got a 20. You get to roll twice.
I got to roll twice.
Yeah.
19.
19,
8,
you get a water
which is
purifier.
I get a tent.
Mm-hmm.
And I get a heavy flashlight.
Okay. So go ahead and roll your other 2 twice, real quick.
2d20, yeah?
Yeah, 2 d20s.
2d20 is a 4 and a 4. So I get 2 keel boats. I don't know what the fuck that is.
I don't even know what a keel boat is myself.
I want to just Google it.
But you have 2 of them.
I mean, there is a river that goes through the city, so maybe you really like to party on a boat.
Apparently I have 2 barges.
What?
I have 2 dinghy sailing boats.
Not even.
Hey, that's your
someone paid you in credits.
Or no, you have a houseboat. Actually, there you go. You have a houseboat. You have.
I have 2 houseboats.
No. You have these 2 keel boats, and they're lashed together, and you've made a houseboat of it.
And I live on the river. Okay, no, I'll take that. Yeah, I'll take that.
All right.
You're a river monkey.
Who's next?
Yes, who's next?
Will be me,
Let's
I
see.
guess.
Think everybody know me. Stop.
1776.
Radio cell phone. So let's
Oh
see
my
here.
god, you rolled 1776.
We'll commence again!
You rolled 1776. Okay, so 17
dude.
7 a riding horse, and 6 a giraffe. You have 2 horses.
A giraffe.
Squigs needs the horses to be able to cart his. I'm gonna say he has a little bit of a.
So where do I put these? In my gear?
Just write these down as your starting gear.
I'll put vehicles.
Well, screw you and the horse you rode on. Okay.
All right, who's next?
I am. Let's see what This car wreck is gonna happen now. 14, 6, and a 2.
14, 6, and a 2. You have, for 14, you get 5 gallons of fuel. A 7, it was?
Yeah. No, a 6.
A 6, a draft horse. So you actually, you are a cowboy who rode in on draft horse. And 2, a climber's kit.
Oh, I see. That would be useful.
Yeah.
Should I try?
Go ahead. You might as well.
If I might need a different thing, can I trade it? Yes.
Oh, there's always.
Well, you already have.
market.
Yeah, well, I mean, you already have the other stuff. So you have 4. Ooh, wow. Okay, so 3, 18, 13, and 8. So 3 is a canoe. So you're used to the river. You probably go fishing for supper. I mean, you are a cat, even though you can't eat it. It's just you have an urge to fish. What's 18? You have a pickup truck. we got the pickup truck.
Yes.
And I got the few.
All right. 13. Let's see here. 13 is
Heavy flashlight.
a heavy flashlight, and a 2 is a climber's kit.
No, it's an 8.
No, you can get.
And 8. In 8. Sorry. 8. You got a tent. Yeah.
I feel kind of gypped because
Exactly.
I have 2 boats.
You have a
and-
household. You have a house home.
I have 2
Thing.
horses that I don't need.
I'll have one.
Well,
Look.
one.
Maybe you're using them as a farm. I mean, you're fungus after all.
Oh, see, that's it. He's
That's
infecting
supper.
people.
Yeah, that's supper right there. There you go. You have an
Yes, yeah.
infinite supply of supper.
Are you telling him to eat shit?
I'm not telling him to eat shit, but he might be full of horse shit.
Basically.
All right. And we have Josh's rolls. 14, 16, 11, and 5. Let's see what Josh gets. 14 is another 5 gallons of fuel.
Oh.
So looks like you guys are doing good for overland travel so far. 16 is
Those
night
times.
vision
Night vision
goggles,
goggles.
which makes
Oh.
sense considering his suit and whatnot.
Laptop computer.
11. Yeah, is that a laptop? Yeah, you've
Yep.
got a laptop. Got to play them old
And a
MMOs. And a lantern. There you go. Well, I mean, you can't.
Lantern light.
I mean, you're probably staying in an alleyway or something like that, or maybe a whorehouse that doesn't exactly have reliable electricity, so you might need a lantern. Oh no! You use a lantern when you're on patrol. There you go.
No, the question is there Wi-Fi in the post-apocalypse?
Yeah, there is
Right.
the reliquary net.
Well, that'll be why he has a laptop to look
Yeah.
up all that sweet guardsman
The
news.
reliquary
Oh dear
net.
God!
Yeah.
I have.
Does it channel
companion.
directly to the God Emperor?
Guys, I'm reading this through, and my riding horse
Yeah.
has an HP of 10, 10 on all defenses, and a speed of 10.
Ooh, nice. Also, for the fact that you guys have a lot of horses, I mean, you can have up to 2 people on a horse. So,
Yeah,
like,
it
if
should
you
be
guys
Oh, we
get
have horse draft horse. Draft horse is you can only pull a wagon at 3 miles per hour.
even still, you can
we can
ride a
always-
draft horse. It's just not as comfortable. I'm gonna give it the nod on that. It just happens to be, it's a riding horse that can actually carry stuff. The riding horses cannot drag things very well.
Mm-hmm.
They're more built for speed in that regard. And I will say that those boats, specific in Dapper's relation here, those can actually house horses. It's big enough that you can actually have that.
So,
you're
am I a
lashed.
salty sea dog monkey captain? Demon?
Yes, you're a salty sea dog monkey captain, and demon. Yeah.
Shit.
Well, that's probably why you live in the houseboat to begin with. No one else will let you like live around them, so you have to live out on the river.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's the amazing thing is I picture the river like Ankh-Morpork's river. I could just like if I really hit it hard enough, I could run across it like Tony. It's like
All
it's
right.
like living in a big pool of rotten gravy.
Oh
Well,
God.
Seems like I ran out of fuel in that city.
Yeah. Well, at least we now know how you made it across the wasteland. Your trusty old Ford pickup.
My dear Betsy.
Why not the canoe? How many people do you reckon you can get in a canoe, and could you get a horse in there?
Canoe probably won't hold a horse, but she's probably got the canoe like loaded in the back of her truck, along with the rest of her.
Trust me, dude.
I
know canoes. I know canoes.
Actually,
I have an idea. I have an idea. I combine the pickup truck with the tent and the canoe, and I have myself a nice home.
Actually, think about it. If we run out of fuel, we technically have a wagon, and we have two draft horses.
So, considering that you all have been working in town for a while, I'm going to say that you probably have a bit of a nest egg, some currency squirreled away from working and whatnot. So, I want you all to go ahead and roll me. Let's see. I'll say 5 d10s. And then go ahead and add 25 to that.
Roll.
See, how is your financial situations?
I need enough.
Alright, so Carla, you have 15 plus 25, that is 30, 40, you have 40, Johnsons. You have, yeah, you have 40 Johnsons to your name here.
I have 59 Johnsons.
I have 38.
You added, you forgot to add 20. So you are at 58. The good doctor is kind of well put. And what was it? The security guard is sitting pretty at almost 60 Johnsons, and Bar is or rather Mr. Anderson is sitting at about 56 Johnsons. So he's done pretty good on tips.
Now
Carla, unfortunately, because she's pretty new in town, she hasn't had enough time to sort of like build too much underneath her. And you know, all those fish that she catches, they're a little bit irradiated. They might have 3 eyes. They don't sell too well at the market. Only the most poor people tend to buy her fish.
I tried to get the best fish, but the fish didn't like me.
I wonder why.
I guess they say that there's something fishy about her.
I don't know. Maybe that instead of a fish, you got a mealy oyster.
God damn it. Okay, so
did we roll for how many Johnsons we have?
Well, that's how many Johnsons you had. That's what the rolls were right there.
All the Johnsons.
How many Johnsons did I have? Sorry, my internet got out.
Roll.
Roll five d10s plus 25.
Can someone do me a solid?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and roll it for you. DM rolls.
Cheers.
So roll 5d10 plus 25. Holy shit!
Ooh, someone's winning big in the pits.
Yeah, somebody's doing really well in the pits. Explains why you have your own house. You have 68 Johnsons.
Does that come with a reputation as well?
I'll say you're pretty well reputed as being a fearsome combatant in the pit.
Yeah. Okay, sweet.
Double monkey.
I'm happy with that. I have 68 empty bottles of lotion. I'm 100% happy with this.
No, in the case of what the currency is in this place, it might have been at some point some sort of currency native to the region, but it's like an amalgam of what looks to be steel, copper, nickel, and the like, just sort of struck into a single piece. It's fairly good size, but it has
stamped with the Dove logo.
It has 3 J's on it.
No, it has 3 J's on one side with the face of the 3 heads of the founders, and on the opposite end you have the Johnson & Johnson logo on it. So Johnson and Johnson logo, like just so that
Jensen.
the
Johnson and Jensen logo.
Johnson and Jensen, Yeah, you have something like this on the other side. So it's like a hexagonal symbol with a stylized double helix going through it, and Johnson, Johnson, and Jensen written underneath it in cursive script. And on the opposite...
I was going to say, quick question. I'm trying to figure out, where do we put our gear?
Your gear, you're probably going to have to, like, keep it on a separate...
There's the gear tab.
Oh, is there a gear tab?
Yeah, that's for Mega Tech.
For a Mega Tech? No, but you have an equipment. You have an equipment section
On the
there,
side.
too. Yeah. On the side of it.
Okay.
So in between this show and the next show, I'm going to put together a card listing and whatnot to where you guys actually can draw from the card pile and everything like that, because there is a system here in Roll20 for that. So it should be all gravy by the time we get to that. But let's see if there's anything else on the setup for things. Oh no! Why did I do that? I clicked off it again. Damn it. Alright, let's scroll.
On a page.
How to run the game. Creating adventures. Building character rewards, conditions. Running encounters. Exploring. How to play. Rules of combat. Basics of the game. How to read a power. Overview of character creation. Page 30. Let's see here. Alright. Add role-playing character details is the next portion of it, because we already did the fill numbers bit. That includes your armor class, other defenses, as well as your initiative modifier and your attack damage and skill bonuses. Let's see here. Oh, by the way, you are offered a free... Let's see here. You also start with an explorer's kit and some miscellaneous gear. Choose the weapon stuff and what you're carrying. And that will be on page 71 real quick.
That feeling when you think you're out of beer and then you realise you've got another one in the fridge.
Yeah, right.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you mean the Explorer's Kit?
Well, I'm trying to see real quick right here.
Is that what you call an extra beer in the fridge?
Yeah, it's an Explorer's Kit right there. Starting gear if you're in a hurry. So you get one kind of armor of your choice, one melee weapon, and one ranged weapon, and an Explorer's Kit. So, go ahead and, like, in the folder for GammaWorld, there should be a 4E GammaWorld card set, and you can flip through those and go ahead and pick from those. So, you go ahead and choose your weapons out. Like I said, you are offered a melee weapon, one armor type, and, one ranged weapon. So, not a gun, but a ranged weapon.
Yeah, from the generic.
Yeah, generic ranged weapons. So, go ahead and do that, and while you do that, I will go use the John real quick, because fucking crap, this beer's going through me like crazy.
What page is this? 71, right?
Do you believe so? Because with the, should have the gear listed there, 66.
Sorry to not entertain you so much, chat. Let's see here.
Yeah, let's chat to the chat.
For a moment there. Hope everyone's enjoying the process behind the scenes.
How is the Russian translations going? Oh. Okay.
Suddenly Russian.
Suddenly Russian. Devil King came down with a horrible case of the horrible case of Sovietism.
Sovietism. Oh boy.
He's got a strong case of the tism, unfortunately.
Yeah. But it's like one armor type is going to be light armor for me with a +2 bonus to your C.
I don't get it. I'm completely clueless.
Righto.
Same. Don't worry, Feldy. So
Feldy's
am I.
crying.
Just go to the weapons tables. Pick the weapon type.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically it's gonna be a light.
Yeah, there it is.
A light one.
It's not in the book. It's next to the. So if you go back to the 4E GammaWorld on the drive with.
I know the cards. I just don't see any that are.
No, I'm talking to Feldy. I'm talking to Feldy. If you go back to the main GammaWorld page on the drive, and then next to it there's a list of cards. You can go in there and look at those.
Yeah, but those are for the. Those are for the mutations and powers and whatnot. You get one.
And
at
Omega
level one.
weapons. I don't see any scavenge.
I'm completely fucking lost then.
Adam
Here's your
card
special.
picks. We might have to do this off
Wait.
cam for it.
No, for the equipment right now, it's pretty much generic stuff from the weapon stables and armor stables. No special items.
Yeah, go ahead and flavor it to what you're gonna flavor it. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Second.
So let's go ahead and look at the. Let's go ahead and look at what you guys have on offer.
It's a melee and a light weapon. Well, melee and range.
One melee, one range.
One melee,
range.
one ranged, one armor.
And what page are we looking at? Sorry.
This would be the equipment tables and 72 to 73.
72 to 73. Oh, very well. I'll just have a quick look.
Then
see
onwards.
Yeah.
But you have the table for.
I am there. Okay.
Yeah. So,
Weapons
armor,
table.
melee, range, a ranged melee weapon, ranged weapon, and explorer's kit.
And one armor.
Yeah. So remember, you have in the case of melee weapon, you have the choice between a light and a heavy, and in ranged, you have the choice between light and heavy. It's just the same. So you just do not have access to guns right now.
So it's that chart that's underneath the
Chart.
Okay,
That's
so
page
76.
So examples of light melee weapons are a pair of scissors, Bowie knife, short length of rebar, a machete, a Louisville slugger, a souvenir katana, things like that. Something that's light and easy to swing. Whereas heavy melee weapons are things like nail boards, sledgehammers, irons, I-beams, speed limit signs with the post attached, parking meters, televisions, chainsaws, things like that. Whereas your light ranged weapons are things like throwing knives, darts, makeshift slings, icicles, replica shurikens, an aluminum compound bow, things like that. In the case of heavy ranged weapons, you have throwable hand axes, large rocks, table saw blades, bowling balls, potato guns, or Olympic hammers, things that would rely more on your strength and your aim, sort of deal.
So we have a light or heavy melee, light ranged, no guns.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, light or heavy ranged. Light or heavy ranged.
Light or heavy ranged. Okay, so I could have like a crossbow or something.
Yeah, a crossbow would be light ranged weapon.
Light ranged.
Right.
Yeah.
And a heavy ranged weapon would be something like a sizable rock. Right. Okay, I'm looking at it now. Yeah. Okay.
So, for the
bow staff that I want.
the bow staff, that I will count that as being a
Actually,
because
Two-handed light?
no,
it's
two-handed weapon inside light melee category.
Yeah.
It's there.
two-handed light. It's going to work off your dex and or your intelligence, depending.
Well,
and
okay.
And it will be a +3 on your accuracy, and it will deal 1d12 damage.
And the gear is.
Actually, aren't you strength based?
No, I'm
Dex
kind
build?
of both. I'm kind of strength and dex based. Because of my simian, I get plus to my strength, and because of my demon, I get plus to my dex. So I can kind of have a bit of mix and match.
Yeah. So later on, you can get like an enhanced version, maybe.
Yeah. Well,
of your...
what I was thinking
can
of
have,
the rebar being kind of like this, eventually
solid
having
iron.
this kind of demon enhanced rebar quarterstaff.
Yeah, that would work. Got like a bit of concrete on both sides.
Yeah.
Leather wrapping, so it's a little bit more comfy in your hands as you swing it around.
Yeah.
This is hard now. This sucks.
Why?
So
No.
Look, because the original weapons I want, I have a horse now, so I'm like, shit. Should I go for horse or should I go for what I want?
I mean, go for what you want, ultimately. That's the deal. Even though you have the horses, it might just be that you were saddled with them, if you forgive the pun.
Oh.
That's perfectly fine. I guess you'd say that I was,
Maybe it was a, what was it, a former colleague of yours who was a horse aficionado, and
No, I guess
they
you'd say
died in
that
a
I was,
tragic mind control experiment. And
No,
so
see, you could say that I was kind of dryad saddled with them.
oh god damn it.
God damn it, you give us pain. So much pain at this.
Yeah, I'm getting a headache.
Yeah.
So,
Can I actually attack with my pickup truck?
yeah, technically you can run people down with it. I'll have to review some of the rules on it, but yeah, you can run people down in a fucking vehicle. That's vehicle combat is a very real thing in this. That includes like if you're on your horseback and things like that, you can trample people.
Guys,
and shit.
we need fuel. We need lots of fuel.
We have 10 gallons. Yeah, we have 10 gallons of fuel right now.
Bear in mind, I have
Nice.
2 sailboats lashed together. Could I take a pickup truck on those 2 sailboats? If we kill the horses.
What do you mean we killed the horses?
Give
horses?
me a little bit of time to sort of stew on that, and I'll try and like figure on it.
I just want to eventually get that
There
sniper
we go.
rifle.
All right,
Right.
I got my 2 weapons. It is.
No
You're
guys.
gonna love it.
Go on.
And I got a jury-rigged potato gun.
So that's your heavy ranged
Exactly.
weapon.
It's a jury-rigged potato cannon at this point, where it's basically I don't just don't shoot potatoes. I shoot anything that's size of a potato.
So you grow an extra fruiting body off of yourself, take it off where it's like really dense and hard packed, cram it into the end of it and shoot it at people.
Yeah, and I also, for some reason, I decided to have a makeshift bumper sword with the words and bad.
Oh god, it's gonna be another pun.
No. Funny, it's the words of bad spelling, science across it.
Oh, I thought you were gonna do. I thought you were gonna write on it. Do no harm.
No, it's just
I'm
science.
just-
It's part of the experiment. Let's see. My experiment is how hard I can slice it with my hi-fi hack.
So for your heavy melee weapon, it is a strength or con, depending, with a weapon accuracy of +2, and you'll deal 2d8 damage. For your two-handed, your two-handed heavy ranged weapon, you are the same strength or con, and it is a +2 weapon accuracy for a 2d8 damage, similar to your melee, and it has a range of 10 squares. So that is 10 times 5, that's a 50-foot range on it. And you can double that up for a -2 to your, your accuracy. So it would be a +0 on a d20.
Oh no, I have
So you can get up
14
to
dex.
you can get up to 100 feet with your potato cannon. And if you're if you're wanting to focus your dex, that will be light ones.
Oh
Light
no, I'm not
range
focusing
weapons.
on dex.
Okay.
I have an 18 in Constitution. I'm not focusing on dex.
Okay. Well, there you go.
I got the idea for a ranged weapon. It
Oh.
won't be one-handed. It won't be two-handed. It will be one-fingered. My claws can shoot.
Oh.
Oh,
Oh.
I got the idea. Thanks for being an android.
Claw shotgun. Just like hold your hands out and just like fire all of them out at
Oh,
once.
well,
No,
one-handed weapon.
No, this is
One-handed weapon.
no Thundercats. It's like a Thundercats thing. You know, like when you have when you have the gauntlet that shoots like rope and shit. That's what it is. It shoots it's like chain claws that's able to stick onto them, and then she can do is grab them closer to her.
That's a little bit more than what.
That's an Omega card.
Yeah,
tech.
that's an Omega tech right there. That's an augment to her systems.
Never mind.
But for right now, it's just like what's it? Her body's able to manufacture spikes for her claws, and then she can fire them out of her hands.
Yeah.
What would be cool would be to have a light ranged weapon, right? And it's kind of like a shuriken, only there's two little pads that you hold on to, and it spins in your hand, and then you throw it.
Ah!
I want to fidget spin Ebola.
No.
I want
Technically,
weaponized
feel
fidget
that.
spinner.
You should
I
feel
want,
that.
I want
No.
weaponized fidget
Technically, he can do it. He can actually make his fidget spinner bolas for a net. I will go ahead and, considering that you are a pit fighter, I will grant you a net where you use for weights on it are fidget spinners. Or you can have it as a bola, one of the two. Either way, it causes the enemy to become restrained, and they are not able to move from their spot until they spend an action removing it.
I would like to have a bola, like a fidget spinner bola. Like I throw it and it kind of splits in two. Like the little pads that you hold on to kind of fly out, and it kind of just.
Oh my God!
I know you. You hate me right now, don't you?
Yeah, you're giving me cancer. Holy shit! more so than Squig's puns. Holy shit!
I just want to be able to focus and spin it when I'm talking to people.
God damn.
Yeah, I'll grant it. In this case only, I will grant it.
I'm gonna die really soon in this campaign, aren't I?
Yep.
We shall soon see.
So with the gear, where would I put my weapons?
Equipment tab.
Yeah, your equipment tab.
Okay, so
let's see. I'll go ahead and take a look here at your stuff. Raise McCong, character sheet. All right, you have all your stuff put in there. Gear. Okay, so you have on your equipment already on there, vehicles and environment. You can rename your keelboat vehicles to just houseboat.
Oh well, I will do.
Okay.
I mentioned it. There you go. Just to really fuck you up, I actually called it a fidget spinner bola.
God damn it. So yeah, so you have your fidget spinner bolas.
If they're lashed together, would it be a house barge? It would be kind of more like a barge, wouldn't it? They're not powered by vehicles.
Yeah. It would be like a pontoon boat at that point.
Oh yeah, sweet.
Yeah.
I mean, not to dox myself,
Yeah.
but I know my fair share of pontoons, or poons as we call them for short. And I'm not even joking. We do call them poons for short.
I don't doubt it. We've got lakes around here, and I've spent my fair share of time out in the Gulf. So.
What, in the desert wastes?
Oh no! It wouldn't be desert wastes. What are you
fucking
talking
with you,
about?
dude,
Yeah, I was about to say, it's like you know that it's pine forests here in this side of Texas.
I know. No, I
Pine and oak.
know. You know I'm fucking with you.
Yeah. All right. So you have that, and then
my country.
for armor, you can do your light armor and just say it's just standard light armor. You don't need to add anything on the Omega Tech name. Just
Can I describe it on the property, as in like its look?
Let me see here.
Flair.
I'm trying to remember what it had scrolling up.
Because It's going to be laminated cardboard.
Is it heavy? So that's light armor in that case?
It'll be like slats, like samurai armor, but
Category,
not samurai armor.
Light,
yeah,
medium.
it adds dex or int to your a dex or int modifier to your AC. So you get for light armor, it's a +3 bonus to your AC.
But lets you keep the
I'm
modifier.
not going to go for my int, don't worry.
Yeah, what's it? Laminated. Was it gladiator armor?
It would literally be pizza boxes with Mountain Dew bottles, like heated
melted and reshaped for it.
Yeah.
That's oh my god, that's beautiful.
No. Think about it though. Like I'm going through trash because I'm not allowed to go into stores to buy my own armor, so I have to make it. So I've got to build a fire and I've got to laminate my own cardboard slats and.
Yeah, and you've got strips of pop cans, sort of like trimmed into it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like a big Coca-Cola logo on it and stuff like that.
Yeah. One of the reasons why the Johnson & Johnson family don't like me is that I don't use their shampoo bottles as armor.
Oh, there you go. You're tolerated because you're a pit fighter. They're like, you'll eventually die in the pits for our entertainment.
That was a bit fucking mean, dude.
Also funny enough, I have in the background playing for music for right now. I have the music for Punch Club going.
Oh, dude, I have one of those.
Dude, Punch Club is fucking awesome. I love that game.
No. I was talking to Squigs. Sorry, I just saw his my final boomstick. I have one of those somewhere. Let me dig it out. I'll show it off screen. Don't worry, I'm not going to start waving my myself collection around.
I will say now that we've got most of our gear sorted and that we have an idea of where we're going with it, I think that should bring a close to our 0 session for things. Yeah. We've been going for about 2 hours, 17 minutes, and we did get a little bit of a late start today. So I'm also trying to respect you guys across the pond. Not trying to keep you up too late. Also, I do know that.
Did we figure out all the gear for everyone?
Yeah, I believe so. I think
Feldy, what gear did you have?
Oh yeah, Feldy. She had the claws. She had the claws, and that is using the standard light ranged. So that is for a light ranged weapon is for one-handed. It's a +3 accuracy for 1d8 damage, and it has a range of 5 squares. So that is 5 times 5. That is 25 feet that she's accurate with it, and she can crank it up to 50 feet if she's really trying to aim.
What's my bonus as well? Is it the same?
Which shouldn't be hard with the point of a finger.
Oh yeah. I mean, it ain't too hard.
It's a stats.
You still get like, let's say if you're like aiming it or at somebody or whatever, you like hold your hand and do like finger gun with it and fire the single shot.
That's where you're wrong, kiddo. Click.
You still get +1 to your accuracy for it. So.
Oh! Can I maybe put that on my feet claws too? So that I kick meanwhile...
you could do like a roundhouse kick and it like fires off something.
That would be cool.
Like a nail. There you go.
Oh yeah.
It just counts as like your nails that you're firing them. So
for me, I'm going with one claw hammer, light one-handed.
Yeah.
It's throwing spikes for light one-handed too.
So like sharpened rail spikes.
No, more like sharpened steel.
Oh, okay. So it's just
they're more like
a chopped off piece of rebar.
Yeah, sharpened enough. If you put enough torque on them.
For you, considering you're a speedster, you can. That's the reason why you can. That you always have them on hand. It's like, oh, like I have this piece of rebar and I'm just gonna bend it till it breaks off, and then I'm just gonna sharpen it off some concrete over here. Just
high speed.
It just instantly sharpens it, and then you can throw it.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Yeah.
Just
and
pick up some
that'll
light armor. I got light armor. Plus using just going with motorcycle gear.
Okay.
Like
that's
a good
post-apocalyptic, waster punk sort of shit. Maybe it's got a little bit of a leather trail on it or something like that to make it kind of a semi-duster biker gear.
Mm-hmm.
It swishes when you run really fast, so it like makes you feel cool.
Might be.
It's like
might be.
it's kind of a trench coat, but not really. It's at least a little more fitted.
Yeah, there's a long coat there going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, the nice, the boots with the clasps.
All right. Speaking of Josh, what weapons were you going with?
Oh, I have something for you.
Okay.
Oh god.
Alright, so for the light ranged weapon, I was actually having some specialized containment throwing kunai that it can actually charge with antimatter and toss as a weapon.
As far as it
Not
goes,
to-
like
Like as the actual
Sounds
ability, you have to use your weapon to activate it in the first place. So like you have to.
We're going special.
No, actually, your antimatter ability is literally just you channeling in a direction. That was what we were talking about with your initial concept, that you put it into your weapon and threw it out. So like your effect doesn't actually go like we'll say
mechanically stack with the
yeah, it won't mechanically stack with it. This is what it is. Like I mean you can kind of I suppose you could probably gambit it a little bit. Like you can flavor it as
Well, I
you
mean, like
gambit
the
it.
actual flavor for it, it's not. They're actually their own supposed weapon, but it's only if you actually use the ability, which has the exact same range as the actual kunai would be using the ability as opposed to using the ranged attack.
Yeah, so light one-handed ranged. Okay, then yeah, I suppose that
If
works.
I throw a piece of steel at them that doesn't explode, then I did use the ability. If it does explode, then I use the ability.
Yeah. So you can gambit it. You can sit there and charge it with a little bit of antimatter before you throw the shuriken at somebody. Fucking weeb. Fucking weeb!
You haven't heard it yet.
Wait, you're calling him the weeb whilst I'm playing as the Monkey King?
You don't understand my best friend.
No, clearly I don't.
I'm also going to be pulling out the carbon fiber.
Then again, any friend of the Imperial Guard is a friend of mine.
No, he's filthy chaos. He's filthy chaos through and through.
Well, then I shall smite him.
You're starting to understand our antagonistic friendship.
I'm starting to feel it.
So what's your melee weapon choice then?
It is a one-handed light weapon, just a carbon fiber combat ninjutsu. Basically a straight piece of steel that you use to slice people.
So like a machete almost?
Straight blade. Think more like a shitty katana that's just straightened out.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I know what you propose.
So just like a straight razor, Blech. I'm slurring words. So in that case, that'll be a light melee weapon, and it'll be, I am guessing, one-handed. Is it one-handed or two-handed? Do you know?
Ninjutsu? Yeah.
It's
it'll be light
one-handed.
Okay, so light one-handed is it uses Dex or Int, and it has a +3 accuracy for 1d8 damage.
Yeah. Both of mine use the same Dex or Int. They both have +3 to accuracy, and they both deal the same damage. It's just one's ranged and one's melee.
Yep. So that way, because remember,
very easy to remember.
Yeah. So like whenever you would need to do what do you call it? What was it? If you got like somebody up in your face.
Opportunity attacks.
Yeah, opportunity attacks, or somebody's up in your face. You're dealing the same sort of damage at range that you would in close combat. So that's still good.
And the last thing is the reactive plated armor, heavy armor. Mainly for the fact that the natural thing that I get from antimatter is if anybody takes an attack of opportunity against me, they automatically take 5 damage back physical.
So for heavy armor, you are given a +7 armor bonus to your AC. And
you lose
also,
1 movement speed on it too.
Yeah, you lose one space movement speed off of what you get. So yeah, your containment gear that you use.
Yeah, reactive plated,
Whisker,
military
what's going
grade,
on my
heavy
nose?
carbon fiber security armor.
Yeah.
Sounds like a pretty long-winded name.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Damn it, I hate how sometimes your whisker goes up your nose a little bit and just tickles the living hell out of the inside edge. Like,
I wouldn't.
fuck.
No, I can't grow a mustache.
Oh, well, there you go. Be
Yeah,
glad.
it's called
Mustache.
trimming. Trimming, you know, you trim.
Trimming.
Hey, I'm trying to grow it out.
Shave your
for-
face bush.
No. I'm growing out this magnificent topiary masterpiece here. It's
Beautiful.
It only
is,
looks
it
that
is.
way on
Bullshit.
camera. In real
It
life,
is.
it's all
Panda
like
back.
white.
it's all
You say that, but it's a magnificent beard.
I do have a white streak. I'm not gonna lie, and it comes down right here.
You're kind of half a badger.
Yeah, at that point a little bit. It goes with the white streak through my hair. Thankfully, the camera washes.
I hear you, dude.
He's got
very
the
I'm having
he's
one
got
of
the
my
road
own
look.
this morning.
Yeah,
like,
well, I can imagine it suiting you, to be honest. It's not like it would be out of place with your character. Not as in your RPG character, I mean your like actual character.
Yeah. Especially as fucking flailing and stressed out as I am usually. Fuck! I gotta do all this. I've got like a day to do it. Fuck!
Well, I mean that's just a sign that you need to work harder.
Right? That's purely
I'm going to hell for that one.
In any case, that being said, considering that we already went ahead and went through with the gear, that is the final thing setting up aside from your role-playing aspects of your character. This will pretty much conclude our Zero session for today. I do want to thank everybody who came to hang out with us and sort of get to know the characters and stuff and try and learn a little bit more about this frankly awesome little system that has sort of been lost to time. I do hope that you all will be joining us for tomorrow. We'll be doing the YouTube After Saints show, the podcast that I host every Sunday after the YouTube Saints and every Thursday after the YouTube Saints, detailing just the kind of conversations and things that we have within the Discord community. If you would like to join in and sort of hang out with us, hang out with the community and whatnot, I will go ahead and provide a link here in the Twitch chat for any and all who want to join. Here we are. Oh, whoops. That is not the right thing to do. That is inspect, not paste. Yes, I am professional. I am good at this. But that being said, from all of us here at the Kingdoms of Discordia, we hope that you have a fantastic rest of your Saturday and hope that you come back and join us real soon. From all of us here, have an awesome day.
Big Fox Girls.
My cap's off to you.
Bye, everybody.